Hey, welcome back to the Print House, guys. Today we're going to be talking about medias, inks, and substrates, stuff with the Roland bn20, what it's going to cost you, from my perspective, after owning it, to get started, how much to get started, and all that good stuff. So we'll just start off with, this is a bn20, the non-A version. So there's two magentas instead of a white or metallic. So the bn20A, as most of you guys know, is just a 4 cartridge setup, and there's no white metallic option and a single magenta. So I got mine as a demo unit, so I didn't really have that option. But in all fairness, I probably would have went with the white. And after having this and hearing about all the problems people have, maybe I wouldn't. But I have a lot of uses I could have used for the white. Not to mention static cling. So just jumping right into it. If you're getting in, looking or getting into a bn20, great machines. They're not as fast, you know, as a Latex or a larger EcoSol. It's got slower print speed, slower cut speed. I know we've talked about it in numerous videos. But the bn20A is going to cost you $5,000 just for the machine, and then it's going to cost you another, $300 for ink. Because you can't buy the printer without the ink, so you have to buy the ink, okay? And then if you get the non-version, it's going to be roughly $6,500 plus ink, which would be roughly around $375. And those will be Roland inks from whatever distributor you buy from. So $375. So you're close to $7,000 just to get up and running with this version of the bn20. $5,400, depending on shipping, taxes for the bn20A. That's, give or take. So white ink option, if you go with the non-A, the white ink option is about $105 for the ink, and the gold or silver metallic is $230, which that's what scares a lot of people, is the price of the gold or silver metallic, $230. And there's a lot more maintenance and issues you have to worry about when you're running the silver or the gold. So that's the difference with the bn20 and the non-A, is the fact that you have ink options. I have two magentas. That's just how it came. Some say if you have the two magentas, you can switch up to a white or silver. I don't know if that's true or not. People say you can. Obviously, you can't go backwards from the white or magenta. I'm sorry, white or metallic to magenta. But there's people that say you can go from one of the magentas to the white or metallic. Now, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know, and I probably won't risk trying that. So that's that. But one of the main medias I ink. Well, let me go back. Talk about inks. So you use the Roland OEM inks. You're roughly around $75 each for 220s, and I'm not sure what the 440s right now. They fluctuate a lot, but you could run the 440s or the 220s. A lot of people ask about the 440s. You just put it in and run it, but they say that it puts pressure on the inlet of the mounting for the 440s, so that's why it might be risky for warranty work. I don't know. It's something that's out of my perspective. So yeah, that would be your ink cost. Now they do have generic inks in the market, like Jet Best or some of these other ones, and you're gonna have to spend around $50. I believe it's like $50 for a 220 milliliter. Yeah, about $50, and I guess people get good results from them. I have not tried them yet. All mine are standard EcoSol Max inks, not the 2s. I haven't gone up to that yet. I got a bunch of those. So that's what it's going to cost with the inks and the printer. So let's talk to media. Let's just jump right to media. So I run typically, what's on here now is 3164 Oracal. It is a calendared white gloss vinyl with clear adhesive. So that's what I'm running in this one right now. The 3165 is a gray adhesive, which is what I run on my Latex for the HP Prime. Okay, let me just jump back though. So you can run 3164, 3165. I think it prints really nice. It is considered a calendar vinyl. Oh no, it just got quiet. So now you'll hear me better. They are considered to me a generic calendar vinyl. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's fine. There's really absolutely nothing wrong with the fact that you're running cheaper media. But I'm going to tell you, okay, so running like 3164 or 5, if you're not laminating stickers and you're going to send out a bunch of stickers, you know, just something like these, if you weed them, meaning if you pull out the matrix of the vinyl after it's cut on the backing, it may curl up. It's possible. I've seen them curl up on me using the 3164 or the 3165. The 3165 feels a little bit different after the decal's printed. So if you printed a full coverage decal edge to edge with the 3164, you're going to get a real flimsy decal. So I've been using the 3164 and 3165, but I use HP Prime Gloss Air for my latex GP, and I had one cut down, and I print on that one on both. The latex, the HP Prime media feels better after you print and cut on the Roland. It's not as flimsy. You know what I mean? It's more pliable, like rigid. So you can lay it down without it, you know, being too flimsy. And it all depends on your ink coverage. Like if you have borderless printing and you're cutting, that's where you worry about it. You know, you got to worry about outgassing on the equal sol on any media you print. Doesn't matter. Even HTV, you want to dry it before you press it on a shirt. If it's still wet, it can stick to the application layer. It didn't happen to me after 30 minutes of sitting, but people said it happened. But I used Brightline G-Flex Brightline 236, and it didn't happen. So I did a video on that. So yeah, running the 3164 or 5, and you're doing full coverage decals, you're going to get a real flimsy decal. It's going to curl up on the edges. If you take it off, stick it down back on the backing, it's going to curl up. It's terrible. Now, if you laminate after, then that doesn't matter. You're laminating, everything's fine. So HP Prime, you got to find a distributor that you deal with that cuts down media. I'm going to be running HP Prime media on both of my machines. So all my decal work for stickers and whatnot, I'm going to print on the latex. It's going to be 30-inch. Let me back that up. I'm going to cut one roll. I cut one roll at 20, and my remaining is whatever. It's like 33 and X amount of space, plus or minus 54 or whatever. So I'm printing on my 33 inch and the 20 on here, and that's what I'm going to use. I have 31 on hand. This is 3164. It's a 50 yard, and a 50 yard roll will fit on there, guys. And but I will use in the future, when I'm done with that, I'm going to exclusively start using the Prime Air on both. I like the way the Prime media prints too. It prints the same as the 3164, except the decals they feel more rigid when you're dealing with them. It's hard to explain, but if you printed, you know what I'm talking about. So when people are applying them, the labels to products, it's not as flimsy. You know, it doesn't really matter, but some people want them a little more rigid, you know, with labeling. So especially if you're doing labeling for like automatic label machines, like where they label the bottle, if those decals are not as rigid, they won't come off the backing as easy, and it won't be applied automatically. It's a thing. It happens. So another media that I use is the wall graphic vinyl, which I really love it. It's removable. So I'm using Arlon. I'm using the Arlon stuff. It is a removable. So like I did stuff for my daughter's wall. It works great. There's also fabrics and stuff like that, like 206 or 6 mil. But the wall graphics are nice because you can put them on the wall, you can take them off, and they'll stick to pretty much anything. I've had good luck with it. So I think summer you gotta buy a big roll and cut them down. That's not a problem. $200 range. So, and then shirt media. I did a video. Obviously, I'm doing the Brightline G-Flex 236 print on the latex and the Roland. The Roland's giving me brighter colors than the latex did when I use that media on the latex, and I've done a lot of it. I've went through several rolls. Pull one out here. So this is the you can see that's the Brightline TurboPrint matte self-adhesive 15 by 10. So it's a 15 by 10. That's what I'm running. And then with that, you got to buy clear application tape, and that's the no, that's not it. That's actually lamb. It's right here. If you can see it. So 854. That's what you want to use. And I found I conserve my application tape just because I want to save money. The Brightline 15 by 10 is somewhere around $80. Okay, so depending where you get it, Grimco mostly. I conserve. I reuse some of this. I'll be honest. I cheat when I use this application for the Brightline. You can get a couple of uses, a couple times taking it off. It works. Your goal is just to remove the print from the original backing to the HTB, so you can put it on your substrate, your shirts or whatever. So 854 is the application that you want to use on your Brightline G Flex 236. What I'm also using is the color print, and I really like it. It's a 2.8 mil, and it's what is this one? I don't remember now. Doesn't say. Anyways, that's high tech. The color print is another one that I use, and it's the color print soft opaque, and it's a 20 inch, and this stuff is more softer, more thin. I have a shirt underneath that has a large logo, but it's a lot thinner than the Brightline, so I kind of like this. I'm gonna start doing some more tests on that to see if I like it more than the I got gloss and I got matte color print. Okay, so the color print is comparable to the same price. You're looking at 40, 50 bucks, 5 yards by 15 or 20, something like that. So that's what you're gonna pay on those. It's not much. I mean, you get your money back when you're making the shirts. So doesn't make media that I use. You could use Roland. There's a lot of, you'd have to go online and find out people on forums or Facebook that have a wide variety of media that they use, so you can get ideas. But the ones I talked about are cost effective, they're cheaper, and they work. Remember though, 3164 is clear adhesive, 3165 is the gray adhesive. Okay, so if it matters to you, the gray adhesive, like the HP media, has an air release. It's an air release vinyl, so when you apply it, it applies like no bubbles. It's super easy. And I have two signs out front for my son's high school, and whatever. And I printed those on my latex with the media, Prime Air GP media, Prime Gloss, and no lamb, obviously. And it's a year and a half. It looks the same as I printed them. And the reason I say it looks the same is because I have other ones. When I was making them, I was testing, and I went out there and held it next to it, and it looked almost the same. And that's been sitting in the basement. So I would say about 75% sun all day long, those two. So the HP Prime Media is good for that. All right, so next we'll just talk about some tricks and tips that I've kind of learned on this thing. Okay. The first thing is when you're printing and you're starting out fresh for the day, and you have your vinyl in here, but you left it in there from the night before, it may go back up to the starting point. See how I cut it here? If you never shut it down or reset your paper, this is going to be your starting edge on the print. It's going to go all the way back up. Now, if I pull the latch and put it back down, it's going to do its measurement again, but it's going to leave, a gap between the printing and here, and that's okay. But the reason I'm saying this is because if it's your first time getting to your printer for the day and you're going to print, and you're too close to the print with this edge, it's not even hitting the vacuum really yet. Like, it's, if you look underneath where the heating element is, it's not hitting that. So there's a little bit of a bow, and I've noticed that on 3164 and 5, not my Prime. I didn't notice it on that yet. Okay, so when you get that first start print for about a ½ inch, you're going to get head strike on your print. It's not like bad print head strike, but you will get I had to pause for a second. So yeah, you'll get a head strike for about a half inch start from front to back because the edge is curly a little bit. But if you set up your file and you just put a little bit of a margin under your graphics, you know, half inch or so, it'll push it and it'll be fine. Once it reaches the heating element, like the bar, you'll be fine. So, and a lot of times that's only because it's colder, so your media is colder. You know what I mean? So if you had media hanging here, it wouldn't even do that because the weight of the media is holding it down, so it's taking away that gap. So on that, and then I noticed setting the blade on the Roland comes out a little bit further than like on my Suma or my Graphtec. I don't know why. Like it's a longer blade, and I've tried to figure out different settings and how to do that. So you just gotta. A good setting for cutting, kiss cut, for the contour cut is like 65. 60 to 65. I was able to perf cut with 95. So the way you could set your blade without it going too fast, just take 2 pieces of vinyl, take your blade and run it across the vinyl. I did a video on this for the latex. If it cuts through the second layer, not the first layer of the vinyl, but the backing, you're too much, just back it off. And then leave it like 60 or 65 on your pressure. It'll be fine. I've set it once since I've had this machine, and I've never had to set it again. So once you're set, you're good. The other thing I hate the fact that there's no Ethernet on this thing. I got my Ethernet box for everything else, but this USB. I mean, what do you expect for the price range, you know? So let me see. I got some notes here. Wall graphics. I used the Roland or General Formulations. I use too, but I use removable, not the permanent. Actually, I had both because I did use removable and it wasn't as tacky. Then I switched to Oracle or something like that, and it was more tacky. So wall graphics are good, and even if you don't have white version, you can still do static clean. You do real heavy prints on the clear or even on white, and it still looks great for first service with the white, obviously, and then second service for the clear, and you just do a max, you know, setting, and it'll set real deep on there. Other thing here, hold on. So I got for my media printing, I run my I usually run all my stuff on Draft 3 on rich color 3. I like that. I like that setting. Now, if I need something where I need to get better color, match a better color, then I'll do Draft 2, or then I'll just do the best one. But I don't need to run on the slowest setting all the time. You don't. You find a job that does that. When I was doing my HTV shirts, I definitely used slower, you know, running a linear print because I wanted to get a nice deep print on the HTV, and it worked well. And I wasn't in a hurry for it. So, but there's a lot of things you can run on Draft 3. Then you could change your profile, 1440, 1080, whatever. You could change everything within those too, and still get bi-directional printing. So that's good. Other than that, guys, get yourself spare blades. I have the link in the description. I use the HQ Master. These. I know I've done the video already on them, but they're cheap. They're cheap, and you get them the next day on Amazon usually. 45 to 60s. Have those on hand. Now, if you're gonna print the lamb, make sure you set up with the registration mark so you can put it back in. Use a 60-degree blade on that. But if you have 2 blade holders, which helps, there's a lot of companies now selling blade holders fairly cheap also, and that's CNC aluminum. That's pretty nice. That way you could swap out your 60-45 on the fly, so you don't have to worry about setting it and everything. So cleaning, if you want some tips on cleaning, I can't stress enough, when you're cleaning your head, when you're at the stage of cleaning the head here, don't touch the ink ports. Don't touch them, because you do that, you're going to get fluid in there, and then you're going to be doing like 10 flush cleanings to clear out your test prints. show you. This was after a week in Florida. I did one test clean. Sorry, I did one clean, then test, and I got that. But if you're cleaning manually with your applicator, don't get the heads. You know, I see people talking about it all the time. Oh, I did a cleaning now, it's not printing. It's because you got fluid on your head, your ports, and you don't want to do that because you'll end up doing so much cleaning. And then when you clean on here, try not to like splatter everywhere. Just dab and wipe around the ink cap, and don't forget to change your cap. I think like every 6 months or something like that, and your wipers. Other than that, guys, these machines can run forever. I talked to somebody who has the original one. He has original bn20 from like 12 or whatever he said. I think he said 12, and he's still printing on it. Same head, same printing. He said he does weekly maintenance, and when it tells him. So even though he did it, it'll tell him sometimes. So I've only done 3 so far that I've had to, that it told me to do. I'm not even sure how old my machine is, to be honest with you. It's within 3 years. But yeah, he's had his since like 12 or 13. I think 13 was it, and he's still running the same machine, same print head. He did a test print. The test print looks good. He may not be running it, 4 to 8 hours a day, but even if you run like 1 or 2 hours when you need it, that's awesome that it lasts that long. The Roland makes good printers, Latex good printers, but Roland, this head is special than some of the other heads. It's not a typical, Epson head or whatever. It was made specifically for that, I guess. I mean, I'm just going off what I read. That's why maybe it's so expensive. Also, I have it up. If you notice, I have it on a cart. You can see. I have it on a cart. Reason being is if I got a long print or if I got a lot of prints, I'm not going to cut them all off. I let it hang down, and this is about 4 feet from here down. I let it hang down so I don't have to worry about it being hung up on a table or something. So it'll just go all the way down. So make sure you got room to drop it, have it drop. And if you're doing a long print that you're going to go back and cut, you got room to go back and forth. And also in the back, make sure you got in the back. How long is this video? This is a 22-minute video. Other than that, a 50-yard roll does fit. It does fit in there. If you end up going with, what do you call it? The Oracle, it's like $60 for 60, give or take, 50 yards by 20 inch. That's pretty cheap. Or you could buy a full roll of 54 inch and cut it down. You'll get 2 20s, and like a 13 that you could still run. And that's awesome too. But you got to make sure that 13 falls in your zone for setting it up. I haven't done the 13 on there yet, so I've only done 20s and cut it down and ran the extra side on my latex. So I think a 13 will fit, maybe not. I think you might have to go 11 or 12. I don't know what it is. I know you have to, your wheels have to be on the edges, but it has to also be in the right spot on the roller. So yeah, that works out great. That's cheap. 54-inch roll, I think is somewhere around 130, 140. So you actually will save a few bucks by buying the 54, cutting it down, and having 2 rolls. That works. I haven't cut the 36, 64 down, but I cut my prime down. So that's it. What else is there to talk about? That's about it. I don't think there's anything else really to say. Warm it up when you start it. I usually come down, I open that up so it starts the system, it gets the heaters going. Leave it on all the time. Let it do its thing. And if you're going to do perf cutting, it's not great. It's not great. I don't care who tells you they love it, they do it. No, it's not great. If you do it the traditional way it's supposed to be, it's super slow. It's 20 times slower than anything. But if you just are going to do it with like 2 cut lines, so you have one line is a kiss cut, and the second line is a perf, then it'll do it faster. But man, it's going to wear out your cutting strip. But you could use the dotted line outline to do that too. So it's not just cutting straight out. I've done it with just the solid cuts. You got to keep adjusting your pressure. You just keep adjusting your pressure till it cuts through, and then you want to go a little bit more. But you say, "Oh, my cutting strip is lasting." Well, it's not. Maybe it's working for you now, but if you cut in a lot of the same spots, it's going to be uneven anyway. So it's really not great for perf cutting. Get a separate machine to do that. I know everyone, it's the biggest thing to do is perf cut, but it's not great for that. But you can do it. You got a small job, you know, you can do it. I did do some. I don't have any right here on me, but I did do some, and like I said, it was slow. And then I tried it without the perf cut feature, just using a contour. It went faster, but it wasn't consistent either. So like, some came out over here, then those were a little bit harder to come out on this side. So it's all about the pressure on that cutting strip and how even it is. So you'll go there. That's pretty much about it. Always keep an extra set of inks on hand. And if you're going to use the Jet Best ink, I would recommend you start them all at the same time. If you can, you know, don't randomly just throw them in there, I guess. And I think once you go, maybe don't switch back and forth. That could be a problem. Maybe it's not. I haven't even gotten that far to switch it over. So I mean, I've got 2 sets of inks sitting down here. So I don't, and 440's in there. So I'm not using this machine that enough to, you know, go through the ink fast. Oh, so an update on the HTV. The ones I did a video for before I went for Florida. Man, the colors print bright, real nice, better than my latex on the HTV, and the washability was good. Okay, it was really good. I only got a couple of washes on the shirts I did do, but they look the same still. So I won't know until I hit about 10 washes. I expect any shirt you're doing a full cut like this. You're doing anything this large, like that's full colored. That circle right there, that's 12 inch round, I believe. If you're doing anything that large, full color print, and it lasts. Oh, this is one of the shirts that was washed 2 times. If it makes it through 10 washes, man, I'm happy. I mean, that's good. You know, that's good value. You're getting a digital printed shirt without having to weed a gazillion things in there. That's acceptable. Yeah, everyone wants a shirt that lasts forever, but price it where it will. If you're screen printing, charge a little more. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's ways to benefit off of that, but in my view, I don't know, 10 washes on a shirt, that's plenty. So, you know, some people have a favorite shirt and they wear it every week. It's whatever. It all depends on your coverage. Like I have one that's a full color print. That one you could see wrinkle wear out parts, and then others that are just little spots you don't see anything. So depends on the design how long it could last. But so far, I use my Brightline G-Flex 236. If you use that, you'll know it's a thicker material. And if you're doing a solid coverage like this, you feel it. That color print is a lot softer. So I haven't done enough testing on the color print on the Roland to get a real idea where I'm at. So great for HTV cutting, guys. So that's all I'm gonna say. All right, so I digress. I'm just gonna start rambling on here. Other than that, that's my media cost and pricing. Blade links are in the description. They're just off Amazon. I'm not making big money on those guys, and you know, but they work great. I'm on the same blade since I got it, and I've done over 1,000 cuts on them. So those blades work. They work for sure. Other than that, nothing special. That's it. I don't do a lot of maintenance on the latex. None. And I certainly don't do a lot of maintenance on the Roland, except when it asks to do a couple cleaning. That takes like a minute. So it's simple. So don't be scared to open up the box, pull it out, and start printing on it on your Roland. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna cut the video. It is 29 minutes long. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit that notification, and